I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, as I did when I got my XM5, and people were very upset about that camera, but it turns out everybody loves it now. I don't think that's necessarily going to be true for this particular camera. And just remember that not every camera is for every person, so if you don't like it, it's okay. If you're mad about the price, it's okay. You don't need to mention it. We all know the issues. I did not plan on buying this camera. I had pre-ordered it from 2 different shops, and then one of them called me and I said no, and then the other one called me and I never answered them back because I couldn't get hold of them. Then I went back to the first shop today for their Fujifilm demonstration, where they had all of the Fujifilm cameras and the rep. I learned a lot of great things that I will share in other videos too, but I also was convinced that I did in fact want the X-Half. So this is my Fujifim X-Half. I have a whole unboxing video and everything that I have not uploaded yet. I just wanted to talk about this first. I also did a whole photo walk video with my Meta glasses that I will edit and put up here as well. Now, let's address the elephant in the room here. This is not worth the price. I can already tell you that. However, I still think this is going to be a really fun camera. I'm still excited to use it. I had the means to buy it, so that worked for me. I understand that this camera is not worth that, but for me personally, I love innovation. I love that Fuji is doing things that people didn't even ask for. They do provide, or they do produce other cameras that people are asking for. I know the X Pro isn't one they brought out yet, but they're working through them. You know, I feel like the X Pro's got to be the next one they announce. But I love innovation in cameras. I originally liked the XM5 for the different things they were doing with that, and I love that camera. Now, I am going to get the XE5 in the fall when it comes out, and then I'm going to sell my XT50 and probably my XM5 because the XE5 would do what those do for me. I don't use video really, so I know people love the XM5 with video features, but I don't. So I am filming on it right now because it's easy, but I have plenty of other cameras that can do that too. So I have tried this a lot already. I took it around for a photo walk, like I said. There are some limitations just to be aware of. It is slower and older kind of technology, which is, I think, a little bit of what's frustrating about it, is that they could have done more. They could have given you more customization, more features. It's fine if it's a slow camera because it's meant to be more like an old, like point and shoot camera, like similar vibes to a disposable camera. I am going to do a separate video test, video where I test out this camera compared to my Fuji X-Q2, which is just a plain old point and shoot camera. Nothing else much to it. I don't really ever use that camera in anything other than just classic chrome. So I feel like I could do a comparison of these two together and kind of compare the quality of the images. Something that's unique on this camera that I really like, and yes, I'm aware you could probably download some editing software of some sort to your phone, like an app that does it, is the feature of the 2-in-1 photo, the diptychs. I like it for the idea of, one, when you want to put photos together and just have them ready to share. But also for me, I've thought of so many creative ways that I could use the photo plus a video next to each other and share them. And I really like that idea. So I'm looking forward to doing that on some of my vacations and things, because this is going to be more of a family, like fun time kind of camera. It has a flash. It's not a real flash. It's not a great flash. I can already tell you that, and that's fine. Let me turn it on. I'll show you. It's okay. It's fine. It's not the best camera. It's not gonna be the best camera. We already know that. I am surprised though. A lot of the sample photos I've seen are people who I think just use it on auto and don't know camera settings. And that's totally fine, because that's probably who this was originally marketed for. But if you know what you're doing with a camera, if you know how to set your camera based on the environment around you and things, you can actually get really nice photos out of this camera. Now, is this going to give you X106 quality photos? No, it's not meant to. It doesn't have the sensor or anything in it. Now, if they had made this like APS-C or something, or even Micro Four Thirds, like that could have really taken off. But I'm still excited for this, okay? I do think that it's going to be a polarizing camera. I don't think it's going to be quite like the XM5 where it becomes an internet sensation overnight kind of thing. This one's probably not going to be that, but I still think it's fun. As far as like the video on this, if you're taking videos, you're probably just going to want to stand still, because I took one when I was walking next to my husband and it's very hard to watch. And I don't think there's any settings I didn't turn on for that, because while I haven't dove into all the settings, there's not a ton to dive into. So It's a simple camera, and that's what it's for. This is not a camera anybody's ever going to question me bringing into a venue, because it's definitely not a camera that's going to get professional results, and you can tell. It almost looks like a Polaroid camera, kind of. So I feel like this is going to be good for those situations for me where I still want to have a camera. I don't like the clinical sharpness of my iPhone. I don't. I'm well aware that my iPhone can technically take better photos than this, but that's not my preference. So that's kind of also part of it. A lot of it really came from testing it out today in the store and going, you know what? I actually really think this is a fun camera. I'm excited to use it. I do think you can get good quality photos out of it if you know what you're doing. Now, in a super bright sunny day like today, you will see in the video that I'm going to share hopefully next, where I walked around with this camera. You're limited on some of the settings. The ISO can only go down to 200 and the shutter speed can only go up to 2000. So you can still, though, control your f-stop, which is what I ended up having to do. That's fine. Again, it's not meant to be like an X106. We got to remember that here. Now, as far as size, it is obviously very small and light. If I were to hold it up to my X106, boy, it is smaller. It is a tiny little camera. Now, if I hold it up to my beloved X70, it is smaller. And yeah, it's a lot lighter though. This is a much heavier camera. So if you have to bring something really light, like when my husband and I go to theme parks, I will often take my X106 or my X70. However, sometimes I get a little nervous even if they're in my bag because, you know, things get jostled around. I'm not nervous with this. That's also why I had the XQ2 originally, but I like my XQ2, I do. It just feels not as fun to use, whereas this actually feels entertaining to use. It has a viewfinder, which is fine. It's just an optical viewfinder though, it's not electronic. It also doesn't exactly line up with this, like what the actual sensor is, so you're not gonna get the exact same shot when you're using the viewfinder, which is a little challenging. But again, I think they could have added a lot of features in here. They could have added a lot more settings that you could change, like as far as not necessarily recipes, but just more of those type, like changing your tone curve and things like that. You've basically got grain, white balance, skin smoothing is randomly in here, but that's about it. You can change the Kelvin if you know how to do that. You just can't do any of the white balance shifts, which is honestly not that bad. I will say, when I originally started out on Fuji, I had an X100F, which I still regret selling that camera. If it wasn't so expensive to repurchase it, I would repurchase one because it's great. But one of the things I remember is I only used classic chrome. I was blown away by classic chrome because that was my first Fuji camera, and that's all I used. I didn't do any recipes. I didn't have any white balance shifts, nothing. Everything was just on auto. I didn't even adjust the tone curve, nothing. And I loved all the photos, and I still love all the photos that came out of that camera. So my thought is, this is going to bring me back to loving how just classic chrome looks. No crazy recipes, no having to worry about, well, which one am I going to use here and that. No, this is a simple, fun, bring it around, pull it out, take a picture, and nobody even really notices because it's so small and it looks like a toy. It's easy for that. That's what it's for me. This is not if you want like a serious camera to grow into. This is not it. So if you want just a fun camera like that and you love using your phone for everything else, like maybe that's for you. If you love using disposable cameras, because this kind of gives those vibes, but you're tired of having to buy those, develop the film, or you want the instant satisfaction of having a camera, then this is for you. Now, I have not used the film mode where you can like not see anything. I don't know that that's really what I would use it for, but I also just haven't tested it out yet, so we'll see. I would definitely have to put it in auto for that because I need it to tell me what settings, because without being able to see the exposure, I don't know what I'm doing, which, yeah, is a newer photographer thing. I get it. Anyway, I am excited about this, or I wouldn't have bought it because obviously I didn't have to, even though I pre-ordered it, but I am excited for it. I love innovation. I can't stress that enough, that that's one of the reasons. Fuji has made me love photography again in a way that I had gotten really tired of doing photography. I had gotten really burnt out on just doing it, editing the photos, especially when I go on trips. Like, I wanted nice photos, but I didn't want to edit them. That's something that I personally don't enjoy for like those kind of moments. Like, my professional work, totally fine, but I've also had it really nice where I've been able to, oh my gosh, I can't talk today, where I've been able to do professional shoots and just use my JPEGs out of Fuji. Like, I still take RAW for those just because, but yeah, this can't do RAW, but I don't use RAW half the time on my Fuji cameras. A lot of my cameras, I have them set to take JPEG plus RAW, but do I ever actually use it? No. My X70, I don't even have it set to RAW. It's set on just JPEGs, which is essentially what I would do for this. My Fuji XQ2 is only set to do JPEGs, which is what I would do with this. I almost never touch the raw files unless I'm doing a raw conversion in the camera on some of mine just to change settings. But that's not what this is for, and that's totally fine. So I do have a lot of videos coming up where I'm going to test this. I'm going to put it through its paces against other similar things. I'm not going to put it through its paces against an X106. It's not meant to be that. Even my X70 is going to be a better camera than this. We know that. But my XQ2 is more similar, or I can do it against like the old Canon IXI cameras. I honestly, I'm not positive if my G7X is better than this or not. So that's another one I can test it against. I know this can shoot in RAW, but again, we're not talking about that because I don't do that. So let me know what comparisons you'd like on that if you have any thoughts, but I will have sample photos in my next one because I'm going to edit the video I did today where I took a photo walk because it didn't make sense to put that in with this. But anyway, I'm excited about this. I know a lot of other photographers have pre-ordered this too. It's not just me. So if you have, let me know your thoughts. I do think there were a lot of misses with this. I'm not just being naive and thinking that everything's perfect. I do think the price was a big one. I get that. I think it should have been worth a lot less. I also think if they had added more into it, then it could have been more worth it. Or maybe having a better lens or sensor in it because they could have fit that in here, to be honest. So those are my thoughts, but I'm excited to use this and test out what it can do. So have a great day.